A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. A very good morning. Have been introduced already. Let me introduce myself very briefly again. My name is Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi. I'm the sitting Commandant General, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Each time I am called or I'm invited to Nipss, I make it a point of duty to come myself, to present a paper. And that is why today I'm here personally. And this is an opportunity for me to really showcase my organization and to tell Nigerians what civil defense does as far as security is concerned, as far as protection of critical national assets of the country is concerned. The topic is application of digital technology in the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure, the role of the core. Now, if you look at the table of contents, you see the synopsis of how this presentation will be made. Let us go straight to introduction. Critical national assets and infrastructure are the backbone of the nation's economic and social well-being. These assets, including power plants, transportation system, government facilities, are essential for maintaining public safety and promoting economic growth and ensuring national security. Now, critical national assets are assets that when they are tampered with, affects the economic viability of a nation. And therefore, we can say that critical national assets are the mainstay of any country's economy as far as development is concerned. If you look at the table of content, the next thing is conceptual clarification, which I know that at this level, I wouldn't want to indulge in such, because I know that we all know the meaning of critical national assets. We know what is protection. We know what is digital technology. But with avoidance of doubt, like I rightly pointed out, critical assets of government are assets and programs that, when tampered with, affect both economic and social viability of a nation. And of course, protection is when you ensure that actions or measures are taken to prevent, or detect any threat or attack on these assets. While digital technology are various technologies that utilize digital signals, software, and hardware to enhance security measures such as surveillance, access control, etc., as shown in the screen, on the screen. Now, sectoral approach to senior identification and prioritization. Distinguished participants, I'd like to tell you that the core, if you look at the national security strategy of government, page 28 or thereabout, it is clearly stated that the core is the lead agency in the area of protection of critical national assets and infrastructure. Now, what the Corps did when we came in is that we championed a course of developing a national protection policy and strategy. And that has been achieved. The document has been assented by Mr. President, ready to be launched. And so if you look at that document, we have about 18 sectors, 18 sectors, that are grouped, indicating areas of critical assets and infrastructure in the country. But to make it simple and to simplify it, we group it into 3 sectors. We have the lifeline sector, we have the life support, and we have the life enhancing sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, the aim of this presentation is to highlight the application of digital technology in the protection of critical national asset infrastructure, the role of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, with a view to make some recommendations. Lifeline sector group. Now, these are sectors that really provides stability and growth for any state. When I say state, I mean country. And you have some of them here. Energy, very, very central, apt and germane to the corporate development of any state in the world. If you don't have power, the energy sector is not booming, then of course you know that investment will be difficult. Foreign direct investment will be very, very minimal. We have the communication sector, we have the information technology sector, food and agriculture to sustain citizens and the country, transportation sector, water, education sector, defense and security. This education center is very, very central because without education, we cannot all be seated here. Education is very, very central in terms of development of any nation. That is why Nelson Mandela said, and I quote, that education is the most powerful tool or weapon, that will promote development. End of quote. And so the Corps, because of the role of that the Corps plays in the protection of critical assets and infrastructure, and schools has been adjudged to be part of critical assets of government. The Corps came up with a very robust safe school security program where we have domiciled in the Corps the National Safe School Coordination Center. And I like to state it here categorically that center, through the application of digital equipment, we have been able to thwart over 48 attempts. Life support sector, we have the health and public health. We're talking about our hospitals, our clinics, and other public health enlightenment programs, emergency services like the humanitarian response, to a lot of conflict. And we all know that the nation is passing through really a very new conflict called asymmetric. Asymmetric conflict have dealt with a lot of countries. The case of it is Sri Lanka, where the Tamil Tigers held the country for over 2 decades, and it took them some time, before they nipped that bugbear in the bud. And we're seeing really the same case in Nigeria. This is about the 2nd decade that this asymmetric conflict has engulfed this country, and it has caused a lot of debilitating and devastating effect on both citizens and critical assets and infrastructure of the nation. We have also the banking and financial sector, where our monies, our financial transaction businesses are run. They are part of life support sector group. We have government facilities, like the one we are seated here now. It's a government facility, and it is the role of the court to protect it. We have commercial facilities. When you talk of commercial, what kind of companies who are very viable, who are producing, who are really helping in the growth, the GDP status of the state. We have the lives enhancing sector group, where we have the manufacturing industries, the mines and steel, tourism and national monument. It's also, let me also state here that the core has done very, very well recently in the area of trying to boost the royalty in terms of revenue in the mining industry. The core has entered into agreement and signed a memorandum of understanding with the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel, and it gave birth to the establishment of a special intervention squad known as the mining marshals. These mining marshals have so far act from their activities, from their own activities, have actually indicated that the solid minerals revenue, in terms of mining, have gone up, and we have seen really that there is a shift, there's a paradigm shift, from oil theft to mining. The cabal and the cartel in mining are becoming very powerful day by day, and that is why even last 2 weeks, the court arrested over 25, non-Nigerians, Chinese, indigenous, Chinese immigrants who have come, to do illegal mining, and some we have secured conviction. Some the cases are still sub judice. This is a very giant feat, achieved by the court. And these mining marshals have closed down over so far 100 mining sites, illegal mining sites nationwide. Now, this critical national assets and infrastructure, like I stated when I started, I said that attempt to create havoc or threats to this Sinai affects economic viability and social well-being of a nation. So one of the importance of this Sinai is for economic growth. Any country who does not have its critical assets and infrastructure intact, that country will have difficulty in economic growth. And it is as a result of most of these lapses. National security, they provide the foundation for defense and security operations, protecting the nation from external threats. Social stability, they support social cohesion and stability by providing essential services and infrastructure. Environmental protection, these assets really they provide these functions. Government functionality, we use most critical assets and infrastructure to organize government operations, and then enforcement of justice and public administration. International relations, they facilitate also international trades, diplomacy, and cooperation. They also promote human well-being, essential services like education, energy, transportation, impacting on citizens' quality of life. This is where the real topic is. What is the role? I've started mentioning it. What is the role of the core in protecting critical assets and infrastructure? Ladies and gentlemen, this is how the country has been faring in terms of loss of revenue. And I'd like to tell you that another cartel again is in transportation business, where we have arrested a lot of vandalized railway sleepers. Railway sleepers, can you imagine? We have arrested over 25 trailers loaded with railway sleepers. And we realized one railway sleepers, when we went for the analysis with the Nigerian Railway Corporation, one railway sleepers is 17,850 naira. Now, we have arrested more than 20 trailers with that. Calculate the amount and see what we have lost. When we calculated it last time with the corporation or the railway authorities, we got over 3.something billion as lost of revenue, lost of this. It's so devastating, so devastating, so discouraging. People will go into the sea, punctured a whole head, punctured it, put a valve, connect it underneath water, and then be siphoning fuel using the tanker. You will not, if you imagine how they even created the road. When they saw that we disturbed them so much, they now went back using cellophane bags, and they use motorbikes. Now they know that we're also in the creeks with our gunboat, working together with the Navy. They know. So because that, when they realize that we know the tanker issue, they switch back to what is called Cotonou boats. One Cotonou boat can load 2 trailers. They are loaded in drums. You see drums. So I will beg the DG, maybe I will send a copy of the video of the achievements, what we have, number of arrests, because so far, just within the period under my purview, we have arrested over 500 suspects, jail convicted over 100, destroyed over 350 illegal refineries in this country, just within this span of 3 years. So this will tell you how devastating, how confused that we have found ourselves in this country. It's a very serious matter. So we have done a lot in the area of protection of critical national assets and infrastructure. If you go to the theater, they coincidentally, because historically we are the product of the military, particularly Nigerian Army. I attended the Gino Div with them. Most of them are still in service. They are now brigadier general or major generals, my classmates, Gino Div. I came for MNI with them. Some are still in service, some have retired. And perhaps because of that, when I came in, I made sure that I leverage on that experience and then develop a benchmark for training to improve the level of regimentation so that we can instill discipline. And that's what we have done. And that's why my people know that, yes, this time around we have somebody that has come to change the narrative in the service. And of course, that is why you see that some of you who have been following the trajectory of how the Corps is doing our own duties, you will have seen that there are a lot of dramatic changes, a lot of improvement on the conduct and activities of the service as far as the current trends are concerned. We are also involved in all the joint operations nationwide. All. There's no joint operation that we are not involved. Operation White Stop, Operation Hiding Kind, Operation Iron Party, all the operations we are involved. This is just a tip of the iceberg of what we have been doing. Now, how do we apply digital technology in protection of Sinai? We are trained by the military in the application of software, especially in terms of communication network. You see, the Corps, the Civil Defense Corps, has a very distinct 2 comparative advantages. Number 1, the Corps is trained by all security agencies. All were trained by the military, particularly the Army and the Navy, because of our joint operation and how we started historically. Well, we started in 1967. We are the ones during the Civil War They were giving some form of assistive measures in terms of resuscitation of both the victims and the troops, when they get injured. And that's how we started. So we are product of the army. So we are trained by the army, trained by the navy, trained by the police. Some of my colleagues attended police colleges. We are trained by DSS. We are trained by NIA. In fact, we are even trained by even private organizations like Red Cross in the area of first aid and emergency, assistive measures that we give. So it is a real, and that is why we have no room to say that we will not do well. We have to do well because we tap from all the agencies and we put together. That is one of the comparative advantages. The second comparative advantage is that the KURU does not live in barracks. We live and dine with the civilian. And that's why it is easy for us to obtain credible, actionable intelligence. And I like to inform this gathering that the KURU has done very, very well in the area of provision of intelligence, actionable intelligence. This one can be attested by some of you that are seated here, especially those from security agencies. I attest to that. We have a lot of communication networks. We have secure communication channels to enable rapid response and coordination. I can give you a practical example. In the strategy we adopted for operations of the soft schools project, we created a platform called the IES. IES is Integrated Electronic Arrest Reporting System. We created it and sent it to all schools using our forward operational basis to respond to tell us, to indicate to us any illegal movement, any suspicious movement of miscreants, especially bandits or kidnappers, and then we respond. And like I said, we have thwarted more than 48 attempts nationwide of kidnapping of school children. So we have very effective network provided. Intelligence, that is powered by systems analysis, and we detect a lot of things. We have also incident response platforms. We have a lot of incident commanders, who are waiting to get information from outside. Now, what are the challenges of Sinai? We have the challenge of complexities and interconnectedness. Critical assets and infrastructure are often complex and interconnected, making them vulnerable to cascading failures. And we know that to protect critical assets, there are a lot of challenges, and the KURU is trying to develop strategy, to combat these challenges and to see within the level of our resources. Well, one of the challenges that we have is limited resources. The NSCDC plays a critical role in safeguarding Sinai through the application of digital technology. And this is done, we do it by leveraging on advanced surveillance system, digital database, cybersecurity measures. Despite the challenges and limitations, the purpose of digital technology protecting Sinai are promising, providing the NSCDC to continue to invest in innovation, to collaborate and invest also in capacity building, which we have been doing. I like to state here that I think so far, this is the time we have seen really that yes, the 3 C's are working very, very well in this country. What is the 3 C's? What are the 3 C's? Coordination, cooperation, and collaboration. And in fact, that is the only way to nip this present conflict in the board. No service should have any monopoly of any strategy. I have stated it here that this asymmetric conflict has dealt with countries, held some countries to ransom for decades. And exactly this conflict is rearing its ugly face in this country. asymmetric conflict, where you have, when it started from insurgency, terrorism, metamorphosing into banditry and kidnapping, and other forms of crime. All these are products of asymmetric conflict. And that's why it takes time, And so government must have the will, to fight it. With this, let me give some recommendations. There is a need to prioritize investment in emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, and prioritize capacity building and training program for personnel in the protection of Sinai. Implementation strategy. The government to invest in the adoption of AI technologies and machine learning for the training and capacity building of security personnel in Nigeria for the protection of Sinai. There is also the need to foster collaboration through PPP in protecting Sinai. Enhancing coordination and information sharing among relevant stakeholders will be essential for maximizing the impact of NSCDC digital initiatives promoting Sinai. All security agencies and relevant stakeholders need to observe synergy in expertise and information sharing for the protection of Sinai. Ladies and gentlemen, my DG, my other principal officers, distinguished participants, I'd like to thank you for your time and for your rapt attention. Thank you and God bless you.
The guest lecturer, Dr. Abubakar Ahmed Audi, OFR, MNI. My amiable, erudite, energetic, game changer, Commandant General of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, the SDA, Alhaji Mohammed Kabong, MNI, the DOS, Professor OJ Paramalam, MNI, the ACGs from Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps here present, the Commandant, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Plateau State Command, members of the faculty, distinguished participants of Senior Executive Course 46-2024. Good morning. I am Commandant Dan Okun, participant sponsored by Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. My CG, sir, in the past 90 minutes or thereabouts, we have listened to your very intellectual presentation on the topic digital technology and protection of critical national assets and infrastructure, the role of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. The lectures has highlighted on critical national assets as the mainstay of the economy. We've heard about the efforts of the NSCDC, digital technology, and protection of critical national assets. Sir, your lecture has given a deeper understanding of critical national assets and application of digital technology in the protection of critical national assets. The knowledge gained shall be well utilized in our future endeavors, and it will aid research into our presidential parley reports. On this note, on behalf of the Director General, the DSA, the DOAs, members of the faculty, participants of Senior Executive Course 46-2024, I want to profoundly thank you for making time to be here in person. It is hoped that when next the Institute comes calling, in a similar regards, you are going to oblige. I wish you and your team journey mercies back to Abuja. Thank you, and thank you, sir.